Today we begin the most solemn week of the year, Holy Week. We spend these days remembering all that Jesus did to save us. The blood he shed, the indignities he suffered, and the life he gave. But we would miss the purpose of today's solemnity entirely if all we did was remember it, to treat it as just some sort of historical reenactment or storytelling. I challenge you today to consider something new that Jesus might be saying to you through this old story, by asking some questions that surround three of the characters of the Passion. First, a man named Barabbas was then in prison. We don't know a lot about Barabbas except that he was a rebel who committed murder, and that he was unworthy to trade places with Jesus. But we can see him as sort of being the person who received redemption first through Jesus' passion, because they did indeed trade places. So, how do you look at your own redemption? Do you take it for granted or recognize it for the gift that it is? Does it guide your heart and your behaviors? Second, Pilate. Pilate released Barabbas because, as we read, he wished to satisfy the crowd. Even though, as we read, he knew that it was out of envy that the chief priests handed Jesus over. Too often we go with the flow because we don't want to rock the boat, even though we know that rocking the boat is what we're supposed to do. It's like the bystander effect, which says that, it's a theory that says that we are less likely to help someone who's suffering when there are other people around. We think to ourselves, somebody should do something. Well, maybe that somebody is you. In what situations do you think more about what others think than about doing what is right? Third, there's Simon of Cyrene. They pressed into service a passerby, Simon, a Cyrenian, to carry his cross. At first, Simon is the example of a person who's in the wrong place at the wrong time, forced to do something that he doesn't want to do. But as he followed Jesus up the path to Calvary, he was changed. Through his suffering, he recognized the grace that he was given in being able to help Jesus carry his cross. You know, it's no mistake that when we give a blessing, we give it with the sign of the cross. Because Jesus said, whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. When we run from our crosses and when we despise suffering, we keep ourselves from the resurrections that are sure to follow. What are the crosses in your life? when an opportunity for sacrifice arises, do you accept it or reject it? We ask these questions because, as St. Paul said in the second reading, we are called to imitate Christ in both word and deed. Jesus loved those who hated him, so we too must love our enemies. Jesus forgave those who tortured and killed him, so we too must love and forgive those who offend us. Just as Jesus showed mercy to the poor and the marginalized, so must we reach out with mercy and generosity to those who are suffering. As we finish our Lenten journey, let us not just remember the story, but rather let us join Christ in offering our lives in sacrifice.